Today we have amazing speaker, Laura Durieux. Is a passionate developer with over 6 years of experience. Is a graduate of, sorry Laura, I'm not sure that I transcribed everything well. Hot Echo Albert Jesquet in web design and development. As a freelancer, she creates tools, websites, and consults in the medical fields. She is a two-time gold medalist at WorldSkills Belgium and Medal of Excellence recipient at Euroskills 2021. She is also trained in Tokyo, developing Tabasco Japan's website in 2020. Since 2023, Laura shares her experience on Twitch, hosted on as Padiancel or RTBBF, and has delivered talks across Europe on tech and women's contribution to. Laura, if you are ready, we'll be amazing.
Okay, no problem. Let me share my screen. Up. Here it is. Can you see properly my screen? It's okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So thank you so much. Thank you, Hanna, for the introduction. That was perfect. It really not easy to pronounce my school name. So it was really great. Thank you so much. So today I want to present you the talk I'm giving like for 1 year and a half now. So where have the women of tech history gone? So to introduce myself really fast, because Hanna already did it. So my name is Laura Durieux, aka Dev Girl on internet. I'm a full stack web developer. I won a gold medal for WorldSkills Belgium in 2020 and 2021. And I'm also a streamer on Twitch. So you can find me on social media. So pay attention to it. This is really the most technical part of the presentation. So on Twitch and YouTube, my name is DevGirl with 1_. On Twitter, there are 2_, and on Instagram there are 3_. I did my best. My name wasn't available anymore, so I really tried to do the best as possible as I can. So yeah, this is the end of the technical part of the presentation. So first of all, before going and talking about women directly, I want to tell you about a little anecdote that happened to me when I was in college, and which was the trigger of my journey learning about the women who had revolutionized the computer science field. I had an art history class during my first year, and I was really sad that there were only 2 women presented. And this is always the two women, really renowned women in art. So I decided to send an email to my teacher and asking him why he has presented so few women, and he answered kindly and honestly that he didn't have enough time to add more artists in his syllabus because some students may not have the basis for their future careers. So we think about students who will continue in illustration, painting, animation, etc. At first, I didn't really pay attention to it. I didn't realize the huge problem behind that. And once I realized it, I started to ask myself several questions. And today I wanted to present you 2 of them. The first one is, why are women not considered as a required basis, and what do they have less than men? And the second one is, who is the person or the group of persons who decide what someone deserves more than another to be in a syllabus? Spoiler alert, I can't answer this question. I mean, like, I'm not a sociologist or a psychologist or anything, but what I can do is to pay tribute or give a place to women who deserved it and have done such fantastic work. This problem is present in many fields, but we are only going to talk about computer science, the reason why we are all here. And personally, if after this talk you remember 2 names of women, this is already a huge win. So I wanted to ask to the people who are here now. Do you know some names in computer science field? I already saw Ada Lovelace. Do you know other names of women in computer science field? It could be women from, yeah, Grace Hopper, exactly. From then or now, if you have if you have names of women in computer science that you know that are like still living, I would say. If you have some name, don't hesitate to drop them.
Hi, Laura. I don't know any women in computer science, but I don't know any men in computer science either. So I'm not the right person to ask. I really don't. I'm a real beginner in this field. So yeah.
No problem. But it's perfect. You're gonna learn a lot today. Then it's
Great.
perfect. Okay,
Thank
don't
you.
worry. You are really welcome. Don't worry.
Thank
You
you.
so much for being here. You have Catherine Johnson also. Catherine Johnson, really known by the movie Hidden Figure, by the way. Yeah, yeah. Really nice, amazing women. Shafi Goldwasser? I don't know her. That's amazing. Okay, let me save her for later. Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Anna. Okay. Well, let's go discover the stories together. And for that, we need to go back in time. And we are going to begin with the Age of Enlightenment. The ancestors of computing machines were human computers, and especially in the astronomy field. So basically, computer was a job, and it was about mathematical calculations, and very often they were separated into groups to compute long and difficult calculations. The work was divided in a way that the calculations were executed at the same time in parallel. It's really hard to pronounce for me the word parallel. Parallel. Um, and this is really funny because we can still observe that in the computers, the machines we have today. We're still looking for hardware that can compute, execute operation as most as possible at the same time. So this is really funny that that was already a way of thinking before even the machine existed. So, like every profession, it was dominated by the men. However, the first woman to be quoted in articles about computer science history is Nicole Reine Lepaute, who is one of the most famous astronomers of the Age of Enlightenment. With two other men, she calculated the return date of the Halley's comet for April 13 in 1759, almost exactly as it returned on March 13 in the same year. So, like 1 month error. Like they were still with pen and paper. Like this is so amazing. Maria Mitchell also made a splash for discovering the first telescopic comet, which means it's invisible to the naked eye. The comet is named after her, and she will receive a gold medal for her achievements. During the 19th century, there were quite a few barriers and contradictions regarding women in the scientific professions. Despite the fact that they had access to degrees, they were forced to resign as soon as they got married, without saying that at that time, a woman that is not married doesn't exist in the eyes of society. She couldn't even have a bank account. Like, it's really new though. The history of computer science starts in 1840 with a woman that you obviously know, and of course it's Ada Lovelace. However, I don't see Ada only as the first programmer. Let me explain myself. So this is Charles Babbage, the man who built the different engine and the analytical engine. The picture you see on the screen is the analytical engine, whose purpose was to calculate in place of human. However, he was really messy and couldn't stand back from the machine he was building. He had ideas, but not a concept that embraced his machine. Hence the arrival of our dear and sweet Ada. She invented the concept behind the analytical engine by providing the first algorithms. And ladies, this is the beginning of computer science. So Ada isn't just the first programmer for me. She is the mother of computer science. Oh, and by the way, you can find the first concepts of loops and function in these algorithms. Just that. A little reminder, we are in 1840. Despite the extraordinary invention, it was far too innovative for its time, and the analytical engine was forgotten for lack of funding and was found back in 1937 to inspire the Mark I, the first general-purpose electromechanical computer. But let's take it easy. We are at the end of the 19th century, and Edward Charles Pickering is the founder of the group of women known as the Harvard computers. These women listed over 10,000 stars and developed a system to describe them. One woman in particular stood out, Annie Jump Cannon. She pioneered the new spectral type classification system and developed the Harvard classification scheme, which is the basis of the systems used today. Between 1911 and 1915, she classified some 5,000 stars a month at a rate of 3 stars per minute. I don't know what you can do in 1 minute. I mean, like, I'm a Belgian person, so I can chug a beer in 1 minute. Like, but 3 stars, like, this is awesome. Well, in the 19th century, the growth of industries opened up opportunities for women to join the field of technology. One notable woman, Grete Hermann, made significant contributions with her advanced work in mathematics and physics. She played a key role in her early philosophical work on the foundation of quantum mechanics. In the 1920s, her doctoral thesis laid the groundwork for computer algebra, and it first established the existence of algorithms for many of the basic problems of abstract algebra. So computer algebra, I have a little definition for that. So this is the scientific area that refers to the study and development of algorithms and software for manipulating mathematical expression and other mathematical objects. This is really hard because this is a really important part of mathematics domain, and there is like almost no vulgarization of that. Summarization of that. This is really hard to understand and to have to understand, to have a grasp of this domain, of this kind of algebra. So I did my best. I hope don't hesitate to try to understand. And I don't have the word anymore. I'm so sorry. I hope you understood what I was saying. Let's continue. And between the 1940s and the 1970s, women were widely hired as coders for a number of reasons. During this period, programming was an emerging field, lacking professionalization with no specific coding diploma requirement. This lack of formal credentials was advantageous for women, as new hires only needed to pass a straightforward logic test without the need of a diploma. Another contributing factor was that despite women earning degrees in scientific fields from university, they faced challenges like finding employment or advancing in their career. As a result, many women turned to opportunities in IT. The third factor was the shortage of manpower and the fact that women costed like very little, often less than a worker. During World War II, Grace Hopper, a 36-year-old mathematician, decided to contribute to her country. She left her teaching position at Vassar College and joined the US Navy with the expectation of decoding enemy messages. Surprisingly, the Navy assigned her to Harvard, where she became the third developer of the first computer, the renowned Mark I. Earlier, I mentioned the analytical engine and how it was rediscovered at Harvard, inspiring Howard Aiken to create the Mark I in 1937. The Mark I, you can see it in the picture, really big machine, was a versatile punch card programmable calculator, and it was Grace who had the art of timing this machine. She wrote its 521-page user manual from scratch, and she finally engaged in top secret calculation crucial to the war effort, involving tasks like determining rockets' trajectories, generating range tables for new anti-aircraft guns, and calibrating minesweepers. Just that, it's okay. It's normal for her. The year 1945 marks a milestone in the history of computing. the first fully electronic computer, the ENIAC. It was developed to automate and speed up the work of the calculators. And while the latter was indeed faster, it needed human intervention, an operator, which is the job, which is the developer of back then. And this job was largely performed by women. The operator is the person who will manually enters the question into the electronic computer using switches and cables. And as you can see on this picture, this is quite a big monster over there. So you have to imagine like spending a whole day just trying to enter questions by switching, by putting cables in a specific way, and turn on or off some switches. Looks like hell. They were really courageous. And 6 standing women, Kathleen Antonelli, Marlene Meltzer, Betty Jennings, Frances Spence, Betty Holberton, and Ruth Boom, were the first ENIAC's programmer and among the first programmers by extensions. Although the role of operator was the programmers of the day, it received little credit or was easily belittled, as it was mostly practiced by women, hardware being considered as the men's job. Yet the line between these two professions was not necessarily clear-cut. Often women needed to have little or in-depth knowledge of hardware to be able to do their job. And this is where we see a big difference between the job description and what these women actually had to do. And to illustrate this, I have little anecdotes for you. So these women all had mathematics degree in common, and they were responsible for installing and assembling the ENIAC. So if you tell me that this is not hardware to be able to installing this machine and assembling it, we have a problem in comprehending. We can understand each other then. And they were also the ancestors of the debugger. So for the person who don't know what a debugger is when you're writing codes, when you want to see, when you have a problem, like usually it's like that, you writing code and you are facing a problem, you have an error in your code, in your program, then you will debug your code. And sometimes your IDE, so your code editors, will have what you call a debugger. So this is kind of a tool who will show you step by step the execution of your code. And this is the 6 women who implemented a way of working on this machine. Because when you have a bug on this machine, when you have an error on this machine, good luck to find it. So they had to put in place a way of working, a way of debugging this machine, which is really amazing. In 1942, a significant innovation emerged, unintentionally driven by Hedy Lamarr, a renowned movie star. To understand this, let's rewind a bit and delve into her background. Hedy Lamarr, famous for her role in the first non-pornographic movie featuring a nude orgasm scene and also recognized as the face of Disney's animated film Snow White, found herself in an unexpected role. Facing a troubled marriage, Lamarr fled Austria. However, she had a surprising alter ego, her profound interest in war and technology advancements. During this time, when she was in the States, she crossed paths with a pianist, George Entail, and together they conceived a secret communication system for launching radio controlled torpedoes. This is really hard for me to pronounce this sentence. So they conceive a secret communication system for launching radio-controlled torpedoes, known as the Frequency Hopping Spread Spectrum, or FHSS. They patented this idea in 1942, and remarkably, it is still used today for technologies like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And when it comes to unusual career changes, I think that we are reaching new heights. So this woman were a superstar, like a Hollywood star, and she just invented one of the most important technology in our society today without her work, we wouldn't have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. This is amazing. At the same time, a new way of thinking about code emerged in the 50s. Challenges arose from hardware constraints. Programming was evolving faster than hardware, and this is still the case today. So algorithms had to be optimized, giving rise of the image of a singular and creative genius wielding a form of black magic. It was at this point that the stereotypical image of the white, hairy, antisocial man emerged. And although it belonged more to the realm of fantasy, studies in the 60s showed that he quickly became a sought-after profile and was more easily hired by companies. And we thought we were done speaking about Grace Hopper. Nah, she's back. And after the war, she worked on the UNIVAC, the most powerful computer in the world at that time. When she was put in charge of the automatic programming department, she came up with the idea of the compiler, enabling computers to write their own programs. This is really important because compilers are kind of a key, like one of the most revolutionary technology in computer science. A compiler will let you write programs in a human readable language, and will translate it in the machine language. So it's either binary or assembler. So this is a part really important in the computer science history. Without a compiler, you wouldn't have programming languages like Java, JavaScript, C, C++, C#, or I don't know, Python. Yeah, Python. All of these languages wouldn't exist, even if JavaScript and Python is not a compiler, but well, this is another subject. And we always forget to mention Grace Hopper in the books when we speak about compiler. This is really sad. As revolutionary as the idea was, she observed that it wasn't long before every company started writing their own compilers. In 1959, faced with the potential chaos of every computer brand having its own compiler, she decided to call on her old Navy connections to organize a meeting with every computer manufacturer in the country. When they came out, they all agreed that a simple universal language would be used by all computers. And soon, the Common Business-Oriented Language, or COBOL, was born. And it's still in use today. I don't know if it's a good news, but if you look at the banks or insurance companies, like almost all the time, they still use COBOL for their intern softwares, because it costs too much to change. Little anecdotes about her. Why do you see known as the queen of software on the slides? It's because she is the person who came up with the idea of portability, of software portability. So instead of having to rewrite a program each time on each computer, the code is compiled, like because of the compiler, so it can be reused on any other computer. Secondly, Grace Hopper decided to call the process of writing instruction coding. And it's funny to know that this term, replaced by programming, has recently been revived. Okay, it's now the little sad part. So take a look at this graph. It shows several curves representing the number of female graduates in various fields in America. So you have medical school, law school, physical sciences, and in red, you have computer science. I think that we can observe something strange about the one for computer science. Around the 80s, we saw a break between women and computing. So this is always a complicated subject when I give this talk, because every time people, and this is really nice, like this is really awesome, they come to me and they are saying like, oh, this is because of that. And I agree with that. I think that there are a lot of causes for that. There are a lot of reasons that there is this gap, this rupture. But today I want to talk to you about a significant one. And this is the arrival of the personal computer, or PC, in 1981. Before the PC, most university students had little to no exposure to computers, as they were rare and expensive, putting everyone on a relatively equal footing. Moreover, when households acquired a computer, it often ended up in the boys' room, with fathers taking on the role of coach, encouraging the sons to explore programming, and a gap was then created. And especially the beginning of the advertisement, about the PC, and I forgot to put the images. I'm so sorry. You should go and see the first advertisement about PC. This is an excellent example where representation is crucial. By showing only ads where the PC looks like a boy thing, majority of people begin to think unconsciously that this is the case. And you have the same, and you can see the same in the video game industry. At the beginning, gaming console like PlayStation, Xbox, and everything, all the advertisement are only centered on boys. And that's why this is still today really complicated to be a woman in the gaming field, especially in esports. So these days, we hear about ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, every single day. During my research, I discovered several women who have advanced the field of artificial intelligence, including Alice Lecoq and Karen Spark-Jones. Scientist and researcher in computer science, Karen Spark-Jones' work focuses on automatic natural language processing, or NLP, and information retrieval. She developed the TF-IDF method, so term frequency inverse document frequency, a weighted relevance measure that is still used today by most search engines and is an important tool for SEO. This method combines the physical presence of a word in a text with the weight of its importance in general. It thus makes it possible to define the relevance of a specific keyword in a text. And if you look at how GPT, Cloud AI work, so this is about NLP, they are still using this kind of measurement to try to predict, to do the prediction of the next word to put in the sentence. So her work is fundamental, but nobody knows her. So sad. Working with Margaret Masterman, she set herself the goal of programming a computer to understand words with multiple meanings, and set about coding a dictionary of synonyms. She published an article in 1964 that is considered as a founding and fundamental document in the field of natural language processing. Her ideas, little appreciated at the outset, are implemented today and continue to inspire. She also mentored a generation of researchers, both men and women, and coined the slogan, "Computing is too important to be left to men." Usually when I'm doing it in real life, I love to say, like, when there are people going to the toilet and everything, before saying the slogan, I love to say, like, I'm you, if I'm in your place, I don't know how to say that in English anymore. That's catastrophic. I wouldn't go to the toilet right now. So like that, I can say the slogan, and it's always a little bit funny because I have a lot of men when I'm doing in real life. So yeah. I also discovered something extremely interesting: no sexism in hacker spirits. Hacker ethics. The philosophy of the hacker spirit demands that only the work of the hacker be judged, not the hacker themselves. So age, social position, and gender should not be taken into account. And this is also why the big challenge for the tech woman is to no longer be labeled as a woman, but as an expert, and that's all. So is it true? Is it true? I had the misfortune of typing most famous female hackers into Google, and was pleased to come across a majority of links making the top 10 hottest female hackers. So even if there is a progressive will in this field, the fantasy of women, of female hackers is still very present, unfortunately. The woman I would like to highlight here is Joanna Rutkowska, a Polish computer scientist and security expert. She is best known for her research into low-level security and rootkits. I have a really nice anecdote. I still have time to that. Okay. I have a really nice anecdote about this one. One day I did my talk, and a man came after to talk to me to say, "Oh, really nice talk." And no, okay, thank you so much. And he said, "Oh, and you know, Joanna Rutkowska, I met her, and she was really mean and really I don't know how to say it in English, but she believed that she's so intelligent, so smart. Sorry, and um, and I was laughing because I was like, okay, then. And the men, like, it's always like that. The men also are. There are a lot who are mean, and this is not because they are mean that we don't represent them in fields where they are experts. I'm thinking about his name again, Steve Jobs, a perfect example. So I decided to keep her, but I will give you two other names of women experts in cybersecurity and still alive. So if you want to go and check their social media and to follow them, maybe this is really nice. So Melanie Ribak from United States and Patty Mas from Belgium, my country. Yay! These are two really important figures in cybersecurity. So it's already the conclusion. I could go on for hours and hours about these women. Today, many actions and associations are being set up to give a place and a voice to women in IT, like here, Frontend Queens. And again, thank you so much for the organizers to be able to take time to organize everything, to keep this alive, to keep this organization alive. This is really amazing. You do an amazing work, really. And I hope that this conference is also one of them. And the aim of this conference is to highlight women who have changed the course of IT history and who can inspire young girls and women today. As an example, I also have a role model, and her name is Aurélie Jean. She's a French numerical physician. So in French, I don't even know how to name her job. So in English, this is way harder. She's working in coding, physics, artificial intelligence. She recently made an artificial intelligence algorithm capable of see if you have breast cancer. This is breast cancer. Yeah, so this is really amazing. So to prevent this kind of cancer, and the algorithm is working. So this is amazing, and I'm so proud to be able to call her a friend. And why I'm talking about role model, like, I mean, a lot of people told me, like, not everybody needs a role model, and I agree with that. You don't especially need a role model, but I think that you need representation. You need to have representation, and from when you are the youngest possible, like, to see that it exists, women in IT exist, and you can be one of them. And I think that it should be way more, schools should pay way more attention to that kind of thing. And once again, this is not only in computer science, but in a lot of fields. And still, me as an example, before knowing her and diving in this beautiful history, I thought that if I wanted to be a content creator on internet, I should do content about hair, makeup, and clothing. I don't say that it's not good content. I love it. I'm still watching it. But it wasn't even in my mind that I could create content about technology, about coding. Not that I like saying to myself that I can't. It just wasn't an option available in my brain. And meeting her and see her job and see what she's doing, it just break this thought. And I started to say to myself, oh, but I can do content about technology, about coding. This is what I love. This is my passion. So I can do it. So this is really really nice to meet someone like that, and I hope you met already someone like that, or you're gonna meet something someone like that. And Aurélie is also an author. She wrote several books. I really recommend you to read them because this is really, really interesting. And this is about AI, but you don't need to have a technical background in AI to understand her books. So I ask you, those who have patiently listened to this story, when after this talk, after this session, to write down at least 2 names you've discovered today and spread the word. To share the stories of these women with your daughters, your students, your friends, encourage them to show these women. And these girls doesn't have to become programmers, but just open them their horizon and show that being a girl doesn't have to limit their choices and their dream. And what I love to say at the end is always narrate, encourage, and propagate. Yeah, always a little bit shy about this one, but I really love these 3 words. It's really important to me. And even when we are women, we need to continue and to talk about these women, not especially these I presented, but a lot of other also, to highlight all of these women like we do today. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your intention. I hope I could bring some new faces for you, and the stories was interesting. Thank you so much, and thank you again, Frontend Queen, for this opportunity. I'm really happy to be here and to be able to speak with you. Thank you. This is the end. Yay. I don't know how to end.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
We have one question, if you're able to answer.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think many of these contributions by all these amazing women have been overlooked or forgotten?
I think that one of the biggest problem is the fact that history was written by men for men. So I don't know if this is really good to say it like that, but for me, it's only because we have a past as women to be always undermined by and oppressed by men, and I think that it's just like we didn't have places in the history in their mind. If you look back at the ENIAC story, I don't really say it all the time because I don't think that we have to remember that. I think we just have to remember that what they did was amazing. But you have to know that for the ENIAC, for example, the ENIAC computer, they had to assemble it, to install it, and to program it for some tests and examples for the presentation, the university presentation of the ENIAC. And the day, so they did a presentation of the ENIAC, the university did a presentation. You have to know that these women weren't invited at the ceremony, at the party and the presentation at all, and they were not cited in the papers of the computer. So unfortunately for me, it's just like we don't have like men. This is men who written the history of computer and for them. And you can see in all the books, I read a lot of books about computer science, and recently I learned how to code in C, the language programming. I don't know how to talk anymore. C. And when I read the tutorials and the courses about that, you have a lot of names, men names popping for every inventions. And when they are talking about the compiler, because this is really important to understand how a compiler works when you want to code in C, the name of Grace Hopper doesn't show up, you know? So it's really hard to really know why, but I think that it's like the representation of marginalized people. In the history we learn, for example, in Belgium, we don't really learn. We only learn the good part of our history. But the fact that we did so much bad thing in during colonization, we don't really hear about that. You know, So always writing for the good side and for who is the best. I don't know how to put it in word, but I think you understand
Um,
what I want to say.
In my native language, we have s- some phrase to illustrate this. The history is right by winners.
Yeah, or supposedly like winners, but always the
Yeah.
winners are always men, and you don't know why, but it always has been like that. When you look at the history also of the witches, it's only recently that a lot of texts and books and archives show that it was really like mainly men being afraid of women. But before, you were learning at school that witches were really evil, and they were a real reason behind this massacre. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really hard to put it in word.
It's sad, but when studying, if you try to find some course, the speaker probably would be a man. It's very hard to find some course when the speaker is woman.
Yeah,
Even now.
it's really hard. And I think that this problem, the fact that, and I spoke about it today on stream on Twitch, um the fact that we don't have a lot of women for doing courses or being a teacher. I think we have a big problem, like self-esteem. The how do you call it in English? The syndrome of how do you call it?
The imposter syndrome.
The imposter syndrome. And I think that as women, men also have it. I don't say that I don't have it, but as women, we have kind of be educated to have this syndrome and to be polite, to be silent, to be nice, to smile. And if even if I'm 27, I was going to say I'm 17. No, no, I'm 27. I also have that. I feel that sometimes I need, I don't feel like a girl when I'm speaking too loud, or when I'm in a meeting with a lot of men. I see that I act differently. And I think that this is really hard for women to be able to go out there and to do this kind of thing, because you're gonna be, and especially on online content, you're gonna be harassed, cyber harassment, and you're going to be judged really more than a man, and especially physically. So your physique gonna be like your appearance gonna be a big subject for people. That's weird. So I think it's really hard, but we need to continue to see this kind of thing, this kind of conversation, and see women talking about tech. So like the different events you're gonna host for Frontend Queens. And I think that step by step we're gonna start doing more and more. And I think that today we already have a lot of new thing happening about women, and this is really great. But I'm kind of the person who wants more. I want more. So what I want to do is really trying to convince people to know these women, and to try to speak about them to the children. Like when you ask a children to draw a scientist, the children, even if the child doesn't really know the name Einstein, he's gonna draw a kind of a caricature. I don't know if it's in English. He's gonna draw a scientist, a white man with a beard and a white vest, like a little bit like Einstein. And it would be amazing when you ask a children to draw a developer or a computer scientist, to be like Ada Lovelace, or maybe like Grace Hopper, to be more modern, I would say. But this is not the case. But it would be awesome. Yeah. So I think we need to begin step by step to talk about that to the young people, even if they don't have to remember the names. Just the fact to heard that women exist, it's already a big step unconsciously for people. I think I don't know. I'm not a psychologist, but a psychologist, but when I talk to people and to women, a lot of them heard about women earlier in their life, about women in IT sometimes. So, and we see difference about that.
I agree with you, and I think as women should be more brave to take right for their voice in the tech industry.
Yeah, but I understand, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't. I know that it could be difficult also. So I'm trying to, like, doing this is one of my way to try and to work and to take the trying to show, not to show a path. I mean, like, I'm not famous, I'm not whatever, but, being not famous and showing that I can do that is also a big step also for women to try and to be more brave and to say that they can do it, I think, and I hope sometimes it works. So yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Even at home, so Anna is saying, even at home, boys get STEM toys and video games, and many parents still don't think of these as girls' toys. Exactly. So this is also a lack of representation. And if you think of it, a lot of I was talking about advertisement. I think that it changed, like for PC and hardware. I think it changed, like for advertisement. But when you look at the gaming industry, the advertisement in the gaming industry, this is always a catastrophe. Still, only boys represented. Recently, we have a really famous YouTuber in the French community. His name is Joueur du Grenier. I don't recommend you to go and see his channel, but he's really influent, and I really liked him. Like I was really always like happy to see his videos. And recently, he published a video, and he said something like that a Marvel game, a video game inspired by the Marvel universe. Was perfect for the little boys, for the young boys. And I was like, Why are you saying that? Why? We are in 2024. Why are you still talking about the boys, the young boys, and what the girls can't like Marvel? Like, what is this? So we still have problems in representation, and it frustrates me a lot. But I hope that people. I mean, like, if I have a child one day, I don't know, maybe not. I hope I can myself, because I talk and I say everything. It's easier to speak than to do, to 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 make. I hope that one day I will be conscious of that, and I will pay attention when I buy gifts for children. And I think that I also have to work for that, because I yeah.
I agree with you, because even my oldest son, when I start studying with some programming language, said, "You're a woman. Why you are studying this?" I said, "What's the matter? I wish to study. It's interesting for me."
Yeah, see.
He is a teen, but I didn't expect his reaction on this such way. And I asked him why he thinks that women can't code it. And he said, "Hmm, every programmer is a man." I say, "Why?" Why is
Yeah.
it? Okay. I haven't even seen the woman programmer. At school, they have the only men teachers of IT, some men programmers, some men IT specialists, not women. So
Yeah.
the kids, even in school, don't see women as no, as a possible career for women to be programmer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is really hard to for women to, and even when you are women, then this is really hard to imagine yourself in this kind of work, in this kind of job, with this kind of skills. What's really interesting also is the fact that women, there were studies in the 2000 years, in the year 2000, saying that women don't have the brain, the brain of women, I don't know how to say it. Women are bad in mathematics. I'm gonna say it like that because of their brain. No. And it's funny because this study has been proved. It has been proved that this study is wrong and not done correctly. But this statement has been so much used in society and pop culture. So it was used in advertisement and everything, that still today, when you are a girl, you still believe that you are not good in math. And we know, everybody knows today that it's not a question of a brain, and women can be as good as men in mathematics. Already, everyone knows that. But there is still something we are missing, because all the young girls think, the majority, or teenager think they are bad in math. This is really interesting, because all my friends, my girlfriends, when I ask them, like, do you want to try to build a website with me, would be fun, they say to me like, no, I'm not good at math. And I'm like, but why? Like, but I'm sure you're good, you didn't try. But it's not because, like, yeah. So there is that also, who is interesting. And I think that you can link it also to the computer science field, this problem of girls are not good at math. And this is a really nice subject. You can find a lot of text articles and things like that on the internet. I found a lot of small books talking about that also. That's really interesting, sorry. So don't hesitate to look to this subject too. This is really interesting.
Laura, for this amazing presentation.
Thank you.
Give me one more point to see women in tech. It's normal, it's good, and we should be brave to take voice and speak about our empowering.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing presentation, Laura. Thank you so much for empowering us. I learned about so many amazing women who made amazing contributions in the tech history. And thank you for bringing this talk to our community.
Thank you. You made me think about something, a last word. I'm going to do a second edition of this presentation. And what I remark is that I only have white cis women. So I'm looking actively for women who are not white and not cis. So I have some of them. So if you were interested in this representation and you decide to learn about it, don't hesitate to post on your social media women portraits of women. And if you think of it, I would be really happy to discuss with you all about the women you discover, because I want to bring more inclusion in this presentation, because I don't really feel like inclusive right now. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Laura. It was an amazing session and actually very inspiring. Make me feel proud that I'm a woman in technology. And I hope everybody has a great time and have their takeaway and feeling proud of our past and the future we are building together. And Laura, you are shaping something incredible. Thank you for doing this. This is something very unique, very unique.
Thank you. Thank you so much.